it really sounds like is to bring about a joy revolution is to just embody and be joy yourself.
Well, I think it starts with love. And when I say love, I mean that the love is a definition that I've adopted from Bell Hooks, who is a feminist who wrote about love. It's this idea of being accountable, nurturing yourself, having commitment, responsibility, and a sense of trust. And when I do that for myself, I can see that in other people. And that's what connects us. And those kinds of things bring us joy. So whether it's my practice of yoga or meditation or dance or the way that I approach certain things, I bring that mindset to it. And rather than this idea of punishment, of putting myself down, of shaming myself and blaming myself, accepting what's happening in the moment, that gives us joy. And joy, I think, is different than happiness for me. Happiness, I think, is sort of fleeting, and it comes and goes. But joy is a state that we can cultivate, and it's always there. It's an infinite resource. We just simply have to tap into it.
So joy to you is a mindset. It's bringing your mind, and as a mindset coach, that is something you, I guess, teach and share and show. Mm-hmm. So how do you adopt this joyful mindset? I know you mentioned a lot about movement. You're a yoga instructor for Yoga International. Mm-hmm. You mentioned dance. You mentioned when you were talking about it quite a bit about movement. Is that a piece that you need to bring to feel joyful?
Yeah, it can be, but I think the key part is that you know who you are. That's how you find ways to cultivate your joy. That comes from practice, whether it's a sitting practice, whether it's a movement practice. There's this idea of emotional regulation, right? So when we are upset or we're traumatized or something happens, we become dysregulated. So often we don't even know that we're dysregulated. Different practices can help us recognize when we're out of alignment, and then we can find ourselves getting back in an alignment. And I mean physiologically, I don't even just mean from like a woo-woo state. I mean this idea physiologically, our nervous system getting into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest or digest. So practices like breathing, movement, meditation, anything that allows us to relax, that can cultivate a state of joy. And when we can approach that also with that same idea of loving ourselves, because love is also a key component. You have self-love, and then that connection with community and community love. And then you have these tools that you use to regulate yourself so you can understand where you are in any given moment at time.
So how do you do that? How do you cultivate that love? How do you accept your whole self? Because I don't care if you're in a marginalized community. I don't care if you're a man or woman. I don't care who you are. We put ourselves down a lot. We are our own worst critics. And I think it's been the systematic thing. We've all come to a place where we do it. So how do we bring about the positives of ourselves out more? How do we cultivate that love for self when there is so much of this putting ourselves down?
So let's first talk about the words even positive or negative. Those are things that to eliminate. To say that something is positive automatically has to say that something is negative. I'm talking about accepting every part of ourselves and loving that. So the thing that you're ashamed of, shine light on that. The thing that you're embarrassed that you did, shine light on that. The time that you were angry, shine light on that. There's nothing that has to be outside of the light. That's the way that we cultivate joy, bringing everything that's hidden out into the open and finding ways to love that unconditionally. And that comes from a place of an open heart saying, it's okay. I'm okay that I did this. It doesn't mean that you're not accountable for certain things or that you don't hold people accountable for certain things, but we don't need to hide. And we do so much hiding. Society tells us to, especially women, that our bodies aren't enough or that we need to keep doing things so we can stay young. Instead saying, no, I'm okay now. I'm beautiful as I am now. I'm 52 in the throes of a hot flash right now as we're talking because I'm going through menopause. And rather than sort of like fighting any of that, sort of just allowing yourself, no, this is me. And I am okay. I'm completely enough. It takes practice. Like Courtney, it takes so much practice because there's plenty of days I wake up and I'm like, I don't even know why I even teach this stuff because I feel terrible. But here's the thing. I don't tell myself to stop feeling terrible. I am who I am in that moment.